Welcome. Wonderful to see you again. Go ahead and take a seat. And please make yourself very comfortable. Now, as always, before we begin, let's bring our focus here and now. And let's be sure that you've given yourself full permission to be in this space for the next brief amount of time that we get to spend together. That we're fully present to this moment, right here and now. So bring yourself into the room fully. Notice your breathing. And let's start with 3 deep breaths, setting the intention that with each breath, we're going to breathe in calm, exhale, negativity, breathing in love and serenity, exhaling fear and anxiety and stress. Okay. Deep breath in and exhale. And deep breath in and exhale. Relaxing the shoulders, jaw, tummy, legs. And last one, nice deep breath in. And exhale. It's amazing how effective that little technique is, isn't it? So now that we're feeling more relaxed, really take a moment to look around and notice the room. Notice where you're sitting. Notice where you're grounded. In other words, where are you connecting with the ground? Notice those places. And for a moment, as you look around and notice the room, notice your breathing, noticing the gentle rise and fall of your chest, getting rid of all tension, all fear, all anxiety, knowing that right now, with me, everything is okay. In this moment, right now, everything is okay. You're safe. You're very safe. Nothing's going to bother you or harm you right now. There may be other worries and things that you would like to do. They may even feel like things that you should do or have to do. They really can feel that way, I know. Just notice them. And for now, let them go. that you can always pick them up later if you so desire. But not right now. Not right now. And before we began, you mentioned that you wanted to talk about confidence, self-confidence, and connection, better relatedness with people. Yeah. Yeah. Well, those are wonderful subjects because they're things that every person I've ever known, every single one, has struggled with confidence and connecting with others to a fault. Every single one. Even people that outwardly oftentimes appear very confident are riddled with self-doubt, or that confidence that they have was very hard won. And confidence is an interesting thing. What is it? Because it's oftentimes associated with arrogance or pride. And they're definitely kissing cousins, right? Confidence can easily bleed into or come across as arrogance or pompousness and being prideful. But there's some very important subtle differences. And one of the key differences is that confident people aren't trying to impress you. Confident and competent, but confident people aren't trying to show off. They are enjoying what they're doing. They're enjoying sharing in an interest and a passion of theirs. They're interested in being, in including others into what they're up to. Confidence involves bringing others into their circle, which is why it leads and ties into connecting with others. Whereas arrogance, pompousness, it involves trying to impress other people, trying to show off. And you may even be familiar, remember, my favorite bumper sticker, my favorite platitude. Focus on being expressive, not impressive. Focus on being expressive and not impressive. So confidence is your ability to give up looking good, which is very hard. It's very difficult. We all want to look good, and we're all very, 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 very afraid of looking bad and being made the fool. And there's a wonderful lesson I learned as a young man when I took a course at the Groundlings. So when I was in my 20s, I took a course at the Groundlings, the famous one, up in Hollywood. And one of the great lessons they teach in the land of improv comedy is choose to lose. Choose to lose. And what that means is never be afraid to look bad on stage. Let me give you an example. You have two people. You have two people in a scene together. And let's say the audience had given a suggestion of like, they shout out suggestions, doctor, patient. Sure. Okay. And let's say the patient goes first and is like, oh my God, you're the worst doctor ever. I can't believe I'm paying you. You removed the wrong arm. And an inexperienced improver might go, no, I didn't. That was the correct arm. You just didn't know it. And the scene is dead. It says, it dies immediately, right? But an experienced improver, you choose to lose. So you take the label clearly. You are the worst doctor ever. So what would the worst doctor ever? You double down on it. And you say, it's like, yeah, oh, I took off that arm. Oh, thank God. I remember I was really drunk that day. And for a minute there, I thought I had removed one of your legs, but okay, it was only your arm. Whatever, okay. The point is, you never say no, and you just double down on being like the worst doctor ever, okay? And it's even like that was a bit of a failed example, but the point is, it works. It's disarming. It's instantly people in the audience relax and they're with you because you're not trying to look good. You're just like you are the worst doctor ever, so be the worst. So now you're drunk as a doctor, so you're a drunk doctor, and maybe you can't read, maybe you blah blah blah. But the key is you never try to look good. You just keep doubling down on looking bad, and it makes the scene work. And there's just a wonderful tie into life with that lesson that's very, very powerful. That when we give up looking good, when we stop trying to be, really impressive and be like, overconfident, when we stop trying to look good, we will often come across as very likable and confident people. It's very counterintuitive because the ego is screaming at you, don't look stupid, don't look stupid, don't look bad, don't look stupid. I'm gonna look really dumb here. Chat, 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 chat. But if you let that go, and in the words of the groundlings, choose to lose, right? You just let go of looking good. And that opens up a whole world of space to play. And there is the age-old kind of famous adage, fake it till you make it. And there's something there's ancient wisdom in that statement. Because in the beginning, when you're a young person, you're not that great at a lot of things yet. You're just not. You're young. You don't have a lot of experience yet. And it's completely okay. Nobody expects a 24-year-old with a bachelor's degree in biology to be able to go and perform open heart surgery. They're not ready. They don't have the experience. Nobody expects them to. Nobody would expect um, a young person in their early 20s to have, you know, deep wisdom about making a marriage, a 20-year marriage work. How could they? They don't have any. They don't have any experience yet, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not having experience in something. But it's one thing to be insecure about one's lack of experience, and then attempting to overcompensate and be like, "Oh yeah, no, I have tons of experience. I've done. I've been in all kinds of relationships, super long ones. Oh yeah, I know everything about being married." And it just sounds fake. It sounds plastic, and frankly, it sounds silly, you know. Versus being open to. I haven't been in many relationships. I've only had a few. Here's what was successful and what didn't work. And I know I have, there's more to learn, but in the few relationships that I've had, here's what worked and here's what didn't work. And then you could even then tie it in and be like, well, I don't have a lot of experience in a romantic relationship. My longest relationship is with my mom and dad. And here's where it's been really awesome. And here's where I've kind of failed. But instantly you can feel that vulnerability opening up, where it's like, well, where did you fail with your parents? Like, I'm instantly curious, and maybe they go, well, I was very harsh on my parents and very judgmental, and I remember thinking that they were very silly for believing, X, Y, and Z, and I thought they were crazy and they were stupid, and I made them really wrong for that. And then, because I made them wrong for that, I had to go out and learn the hard way and find out that, no, actually, it's not a good idea to try to date 3 people at once. Or what, I don't know. But the point is that by being that openness and that vulnerability, even with a lack of experience, we can instantly create relatedness. And confidence is so much of that. It's just owning what you know, owning what you don't know, being aware that there's there's 3 worlds, There's what you know. You know how to speak English. You know how to tie your shoes. You know how to boil an egg, and you know that you know these things. And there's the things that you don't know. You don't know how to do brain surgery. You don't know how to drive a Formula One car. You know that you don't know how to do advanced, rocket telemetry. But then there's the third category, which is what you don't know, you don't know. And this is the old Socratic conundrum that the wiser and the smarter you get, the more you realize how little you know. And it is, in fact, people who have very narrow knowledge and very narrow and small amounts of wisdom think that they're really intelligent. And it can come across as being like overly confident and arrogant. And I'm sure you've met such people who who they are really, really sure that they're right about a certain topic. And they're just obnoxiously confident that they know that they're right, only to find out later that the exact opposite was the case. And I think we've all met people like that, haven't we? And so again, confidence and connection. Confidence is being aware of knowing what you know, knowing what you don't know, and also being very aware that there is a whole universe of things that you don't know, a whole universe of things that you have no idea, you don't know anything about them, but it's definitely true. And the smarter you get, the more you realize how little you actually know. It's very humbling. And when you get that, it's so freeing, because then you can stop trying to be impressive. And then you can stop making your parents wrong. You can stop making your boyfriend or your girlfriend wrong, your spouse, your husband, your wife. You can stop making them wrong, because there's no value in it. There's no benefit to trying to look good by making somebody else look bad. Again, a confident person is they bring others in. They want to share their experience and experiences. They want to bring them in, and they want to share, and they want to hear about other people's experiences, and they want to listen, and that confidence is being expressive and not impressive. It's being inclusive and not exclusive. It's allowing other people in. It's choosing to lose. Confidence is choosing to not look good. And by doing so, one will inadvertently look good because they chose to not look good. And because they didn't try to look good, they will inadvertently look good and be very attractive to other people. Because it's so disarming. Because it's not how most people communicate. Most people are ego first, ego forward. Look how cool I am. Look how smart I am. Look how impressive I am. And as a result, they don't look very cool, smart, or impressive. But a calm, confident person isn't trying to look good. They're listening. They're curious. If they're doing something, they want to share in that activity with others and bring others into their world and share. Not because they want to look good, but because it's interesting and it's fascinating. So, confidence, letting go of trying to look good. And I will also add, though, and this is not to be overlooked or understated. Real confidence is also earned through trial and error. You have to get out there and be in the ring, metaphorically, of life. You have to be out there on your own, taking on responsibility, taking on challenges, making yourself uncomfortable, traveling, doing difficult things, doing difficult tasks. I heard there was a meme recently, and it was something like, all I did today was, watered my tomato plants, or like it stressed me out to water my tomato plants and feed my cat. Like I'm not meant for having children. Badumch. And immediately I was like, no, that's a person with a very, very small life. If those tasks, if the task of watering your garden and feeding your cat are a lot to you, you're not in the ring enough. You need to get out there and do things that are actually hard and challenging. You need to get out there and pursue things, because it's kind of, it's like exposure therapy. If your world exists in that little circle, and your world is like the most challenging thing you have to do, the most responsibility you have is watering your garden and feeding your cat, you don't have nearly enough responsibility. It's kind of like, I remember somebody, I think it was Jordan Peterson. He said, if you want to get something done, if you want to get something done, ask your busiest friend. It's very counterintuitive. If you ask your friend who has nothing going on, it probably won't get done. It's kind of the old, like, a body in motion stays in motion. But a person who's busy is organized. They're on top of things. They're moving. They're getting things done. They're active. And it was like he said that when he was a professor, very counterintuitively, his best students were the ones that were also putting themselves through college at the same time. They had jobs. They were working on paying off their own tuitions. And they were the best students, not the ones who had the trust funds and who had all the time. Those students weren't the best students. It was the ones who were busy, who had very full lives, who got things done. So confidence is one of those things where it's earned, and you can't earn it sitting on your couch. You gotta go out there and you gotta get in the ring of life and challenge yourself. Okay? And remember, you're not made out of glass. And as long as you go out into the world as a expressive person rather than an impressive person, you will find that many, many people will really want to help you along the way, because it's fun to be around somebody who isn't trying to show off. It's fun to be around them. People will be drawn to you. Okay? All right. Go get them. I know you can. You got this. Just remember to focus on being expressive, not impressive, and the people will come. All right. We'll see you next week.